Hello guys and welcome back to another video, and today I want to start off with congratulating you guys. I have surpassed 100 subscribers and I'm a fifth of the way to getting to 150, so thank you guys. But anyways, back to the normal video that's going to be going on here. I have recently been suggested to do what if South Africa formed an empire, so that's what we're going to do. South Africa will be forming an empire today, and let's just jump into it. The first thing that will be happening is South Africa declaring war on these two small countries. Now I know that this one's really mountainous, so it'll be really hard to invade. We're gonna include that, but after, a couple weeks, the mountains wouldn't matter that much, as the forces could still get through, and yeah, they've both just been taken. So if you really like South Africa, this will be a good video for you. If you don't like South Africa, what are you doing here? So South Africa used to have this country, but I don't think they would just willingly give up their independence, not one bit. So that will be the next conflict. South African troops will push right on in. So anyways, South Africa will push into this country. I ain't good with African country names. I think it's Namibia. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But as South Africa pushes through, they'll get more and more success. And eventually they'll wrap around the coast. And yeah, with all this done, I definitely think the government would have surrendered by now. But it's modern times, so maybe they'll be less likely to surrender. But after some more time passes, I feel like a surrender would be done. Now, I will mention this now. NATO, the EU, the UN, CSTO, all that stuff will not exist for the purpose of these videos. So, just for you guys to know. The next country they will invade is Botswana. Just to connect the territories. They will push in, and I don't think Botswana could really do much. Also, South Africa will be buffed for this episode. Just like how every focus country gets buffed. Surrender. But now there's two coalition countries that they have to deal with. This probably won't be the smartest move for the coalition countries, but hey, at least they're trying something. It's better than nothing. So the coalition countries are being pushed into, and I don't think anybody else would want to join, considering that these countries are getting the butts whooped. And I genuinely think that this country couldn't last long. Was that Zimbabwe or Zambia? One of those two. And a large push into, Mozambique is being done. They'd eventually cut them off, and I know their capital is somewhere around here. But after months of fighting, they would eventually surrender. Here's where we see the peace deal, which is basically just we invade, we annex, get used to it. That's their policy. And as we see, they are a huge South Africa. Madagascar is kind of sitting off to the side. I don't think South Africa would have the naval might to get Madagascar, although they probably could. So I think this is going to be a point where South Africa has to start waiting. It has to start waiting and waiting and waiting. But eventually, they'll invade this country, Malawi, I believe, and just annex it. And they will be testing out some new naval things in that lake. And with those naval things, they'll start to declare war on Madagascar. And they are all ready. The troops will push in, and Madagascar won't be able to hold on. They'll eventually push up the sides. And now Madagascar is just crying for its mama. It will eventually get pushed to here, in which the government's just like, surrender. There's no point in not. And now we have a really big South Africa. Super huge. And here's where they would have to start, kind of chilling, because they have all those countries inside of them recently. And a lot of countries would rather form a coalition than be eventually taken over. So that's what exactly will happen. These countries will form a coalition against South Africa. They'll eventually push through and into South Africa, taking the Malawi Lake, or sea, or no, that's a lake. It's definitely a lake. And their goal is to create a spearhead and cut off South Africa from South Africa. That would eventually be stopped and wiped out. They'll eventually get pushed back to the border and into the coalition countries. Did I mention that it's like a heat wave where I'm at? Yeah. So if I seem rather undedicated, it's probably just me suffering in the heat. Because I have to turn off my fans for these videos. Anyways, back to the main content. We will have a bunch of naval action happening around there. And they don't have the coast over there. Eventually their troops will work their way up. And I feel like more countries would join just to stop South Africa. So I guess we're going to have one more country join. I don't think that many would join the coalition, so we're gonna only have one for now. They focus their efforts over here and do a spearhead. I don't know where their capital is, so the spearhead will look really awful. But anyways, they will surrender and then they push into Angola. Angola knows it's only a matter of time before they get whooped, but they have one last Hail Mary. They kind of get the US over here to fund some stuff so that they can pull off a huge naval landing. They managed to go here and pull off a naval landing. From here, it's basically just a mission of getting around here and capturing the homeland. They eventually push out and do a lot of stuff. But South African forces will eventually be sent back here and they will slowly just all get sent out. But Angola gets land back and pushes into Namibia, I think. But it'll also get their coast back over there. And a large push happens. Now they're starting to use their brains, and South Africa might have to accept a negotiated peace deal. But since it's their episode, I'm going to let them do more to recapture the lake, and they're just going to boss them around. These two countries will collapse, this tail is captured, and Angola's ready for round 2. But with a more brutal force, they would also be forced to surrender. And the DRC, it's basically the two Congos and then these countries over here. To get these countries out of the way, they just fall instantly. Boom, boom, boom. Not much they could do against that massive force. They'd eventually be able to push in. And yeah, it's just the two Congos. And I think they'd both surrender. It would be much wiser to surrender now than to just get all your troops and people killed. Now, South Africa has to do some negotiations. They're allowed to annex some countries, but not others. As they don't own the world. But with the other countries, they will, and the negotiations have a lot of things going for them. New government set up here will be sympathetic. The government up here will be really sympathetic, so they really just gotta win here. There aren't really many downsides to what they did in the war. Of course, what they did wasn't good, but you know, that's just how some stuff works. And here we have the South African Empire. This episode was more packed full of action, so hopefully it's about the same length, if not longer. I couldn't have speedrun this, because it is really hot and I want my fans back on. So if that guy that recommended it did like the video, let me know down in the comments. If you guys also liked it, all you other viewers, make sure to let me know. You guys should help me get to 150 subscribers soon. I would greatly appreciate that. And you get daily content. Well, hopefully daily content. I'm working on that. And I'll see you guys in another video.